Good morning or afternoon, no matter where you are. It's great to have you with me today. I'm so grateful for the investment of your time. I'm looking forward to today's call. We are going to be talking about leadership, and I love the topic. For the last really 3 decades, it has been probably one of the areas where I have spent the most time focusing. And my hope is that today I will challenge each and every one of you to improve how you lead and to hopefully better equip you as we head into 2015. So the platform that I have is a unique one because not only do I lead building champions, but more importantly than that, I have an opportunity to work with some of the most amazing leaders. And for the past 2+ decades, I've learned so much from many of you. And what I see when I get to work with all of these different leaders is I see how they think. I learn from them. And my hope today is that each and every one of you will examine how you're leading, and more importantly than that, how you're looking at your business. Here's what I believe. I think that most leaders don't see the whole picture when they're looking at their business. And follow along with me on this. In good times, where as leaders, our organizations have a ton of momentum, where we're scoring victory after victory, we've got a lot of passion for the business. We have momentum. In those moments, it's a lot easier for us to see the future. We can see where we're heading because we've got so much momentum behind us that it's easy for us to see that our organization is going to be bigger, more successful, impact more people, make more products, sell more services, whatever it may be. In good times, our belief factor in the future increases. So we tend to look at that, and we see that with ease. And then when we're in difficult times, when we're not scoring the victories, when there are internal or external battles that we're fighting and we're not scoring the victories, instead we're taking hits. In those times, we start to lose sight of that future state, and what we do is we stay hyper-focused on current reality. We might be looking at the metrics. We might be hyper-focused on financials. We're going to be really spending a lot of time looking at our current state, current reality. And, then there's this time of the year, fourth quarter. There's a whole bunch of us that are looking at the calendar and hopefully assessing what went well this year and what didn't go well, learning from the lessons of the year. And then we're looking mid-range. Maybe we're looking 2-3 years out. Many of us are looking at the immediate. And when I say immediate, I'm talking about the next year out. But it's interesting. When we as coaches work with leaders, we're always looking for the perspective. We want to understand the perspective or perspectives that our clients are seeing their business from, because we get a much better perspective on our company if we can stand back and look at our business from several different angles. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. Is I want to talk to you about how you can improve stepping back as leaders and seeing your whole business so that you can make the best decisions, and so that you can deploy the best strategies, and so that you can make the best investments. So I absolutely believe that leadership is both science and art. It's both head and heart. We've got to be looking at current reality and future state. But truly, the best leaders have the ability to step back and look at their business from several different perspectives. When we invest the time and energy to see each vantage point clearly, our leadership improves. So let's go ahead and jump in to the first perspective that I think there is an opportunity for some of us on the call to improve upon, and that's current reality. We've got to be connected to our current reality. We have got to see what's most important, or else we lose the trust and the engagement of our teammates. What will happen is if we don't understand the metrics, if we don't understand what it's like to work on our team, if we don't understand how our customers are actually engaging with us, if we're not connected to current reality and we're living out there in future state, our teammates, they just won't have the confidence in the decisions that we're making, because they'll say that we're disconnected. We're kind of in the ivory tower. We don't see the business the way it's really operating. And there's so many leaders who could improve if they would just spend more time understanding current reality. You know, I love what our coach and CEO mentor Jerry Baker is always saying, and he's saying that leaders need to spend 50% of their time out of their office. They need to be spending 50% of the time on the street with their front-facing teammates. They need to be spending time with their clients. They need to be spending time walking through departments and connecting with the people that are doing the work of the business so that they can truly understand current reality, and then they can be working on the stuff that really matters. And oftentimes, if we're missing it here, what will happen is we'll be deploying strategies, we'll be making investments in systems and in talent and deploying different strategies that might be really sexy, they might be really interesting, and they might be very hopeful, but if they're not truly connected to today's current reality, the challenges that we're having and the opportunities that we're having, chances are we're going to make bad decisions. And I know many of you have worked in organizations, or you yourselves as leaders have been bit by this, where you're continually deploying new strategies. You get to about the 70 or 80% mark, and then you stop. And you stop because after 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months of deploying the strategy, you realize it's wrong. And if you would just be better connected to current reality, I think you would minimize your risk in making those types of mistakes. So we cannot become disconnected leaders. What metrics do you need to be looking at on a daily or weekly basis? What strategies do you need to be reviewing the progress of? Your department heads are leading these strategic initiatives. Which ones do you need to be following up on to make sure that you're on track with how we're doing current reality? What scorecards can you be looking at to gauge customer satisfaction and to really understand the temperature and the heartbeat of your business? And then what about team dynamics? You've got to be connected to current reality with regards to how the team's feeling, because team engagement is an absolute difference maker for each and every one of us as leaders. So we can have the best strategies, the best systems, the best scorecards, but if our team's not engaged, if our team is siloed, if we've got some areas of dysfunction, well, then there's huge opportunity for us there, and we've got to be connected to that so we can then engage with the solutions and deploy the strategies that are going to help us to improve right now. So that first perspective, how connected are you to your current reality? Do you truly see and know what's taking place in your business? Are you thinking about it from your customer's perspective? Are you understanding what it's like to build, to sell, to account for, to create in your organization and on your teams? You've got to get up and get out and connect with those on the front lines, see, listen, and observe so that you are best informed to make the best decisions. The first perspective that you need to look at your business from is current reality. The second perspective is your long-term vision. Now, I love what Dr. Henry Cloud says. He says, we leaders need to make the invisible visible. And again, this is an area where many times we leaders, we have opportunity to improve. If we don't see the future state with clarity, if we can't see, and I'm talking not just 1 year or 2 years, I'm talking 5, 10, 15, 20 years. I'm talking for some of you who are leading huge organizations, what do you see that's so big and so far out there that you might not be the leader when the organization actually accomplishes or reaches the destiny that you see today? It's got to be big, and it's got to be compelling, and it's got to be clear. So we've got to make the invisible visible. Vision creates what I call an opportunity gap, and follow me on this. I love saying it's an opportunity gap because in any business, no matter what's coming our way, our job as leaders is to be seeing where the opportunities are, and then to be involved with creating the strategies to help us as an organization to create solutions, to impact more folks, to improve upon the products. There's opportunities in our future, and we leaders need to see that. So if we see current reality clearly, and if we can see the future clearly, if we've got a very clear and compelling vision, then we create what I call the opportunity gap. That is a gap between right now, our present and current state, and that future state. That opportunity gap is where we start to introduce strategy. That opportunity gap is where we start to make the decisions on what we're going to be doing, not just in the days ahead, but the weeks, the months, and the years ahead. And the more clearly we see that long-term vision, the better the decisions that we'll make. And I want you to hear this. When you're looking at your vision, and right now here we are in November, many of you, especially those of you who are our clients, you've already got your on days scheduled for the end of the year where you're going to be doing your reflecting and assessing and planning for the year ahead. As you're pulling out your vision, there are really two things that you need to make sure take place when you read it. The first is that it compels you. The second is that it's so clear you can plan from it. Clear and compelling. So when you're looking at that long-term vision, it's got to be clear and compelling. Now, for those of you who are not our clients, what you're picking up on is I'm talking about having your vision in writing. Absolutely has to be in writing. We believe that not only does it need to be in writing, but it needs to be shared constantly, continually, regularly. It needs to be used for in your planning. We need to repeat, repeat, repeat. The best leaders are always talking about the future state just as much as they're talking about current reality. We need, as leaders, to keep our teammates focused on where we're heading, or else it's just too easy for us to all start to run amok and chase the next shiny strategy, the next opportunity, or just jump into the next crisis. We become very reactive. Leaders, how's your long-term vision? I want you, as you're coming into year end, to be crystal clear. I want you to be compelled and excited. If you're not compelled and excited about the opportunities ahead in your long-term vision, how can you expect to engage the heads and the hearts of those you lead? If we don't do that, what's going to take place is we're going to create a culture that is very bland, it's very average, it's very much just like any other organization in the row of businesses that we might operate in. The best organizations have teammates that are aligned head and heart. They're all there for one purpose. They know how their role connects to the bigger picture. They're willing to learn, to sacrifice, to engage, and to collaborate together to create something that is super special. And we leaders need to make sure that we're continually reminding our teammates of that long-term vision. All right, so if we've got current reality, the first perspective, we've got our long-term vision, the second perspective. The third perspective is the mid-range strategy. I always say vision is the beginning of strategy, and here's why. If in our long-term vision we have painted a real clear picture for future state and we're crystal clear on current reality, let's begin making the decisions and the investments over the mid-range. And mid-range in today's times, most leaders are operating on a time frame of no more than 3 to 5 years. With technology changing so quickly and with technology playing such a key role in all of our businesses and with just the globalization of our businesses and so many influences that we deal with today that we didn't deal with 20 years ago. Putting together plans that are much longer than 3 years, it can really be a futile exercise. So when we're talking mid-range and when we're working with our clients, really what we're trying to do is we are trying to help people to create a hyper-focused team on what it is that we need to be doing between right now and that long-term future state. If you're only focusing on the vision, what can happen is we can easily fall back into just what we see day in and day out because it's so far out there, some of us might doubt whether or not we'll even be here when we accomplish some of the things that we see in our vision. So if we want to harness the power of our teammates, we need to create mid-range strategies that are crystal clear. And let's just take a 3-year period of time, 2-year period of time, for example. What is it that we can all rally around? What is it that we can all really work together on? What 3 to 5 key initiatives should we be hyper-focused on in order to really propel our organization from future state to that long-term vision? Last week, a few of us from Building Champions were with our friends Patrick Lencioni and his team at the Table Group, and we had a full-day partner planning meeting. It was awesome. And if you guys haven't read Patrick's book, The Advantage, I would just strongly recommend that each and every one of you do so. And the reason for it is Patrick just walks through a lot of these processes. This mid-range strategy, he's got a tool for, and it's called the thematic goal. And it is just, it's awesome. We as a team have walked many of our clients through creating the thematic goal, their defining objectives, their standard operating objectives. It's a great, great process. And what happens is when we're talking mid-range strategy, if you identify a crisis or an opportunity that we need to rally around over the next, let's just call it couple of years, by focusing on that, by us as a team agreeing upon that, and then by creating those 3 to 5 strategies, the defining objectives that we're going to work on above and beyond our normal day-to-day business, what we'll see is we'll see improved performance. At Building Champions, we have been working on and using this process for quite some time, and it's very helpful. We've had thematic goals around building capacity for greater impact or leveraging our foundation for greater influence. It's around us understanding that right now we've got to be in capacity building mode so that we can deliver with excellence when we continue to grow the opportunities that we have in the future. I was with one executive team earlier this year, and their thematic goal was all around a number of remarkable experiences, and this caused them to create defining objectives that enabled them to understand they needed to create remarkable experiences for one another as a team, for their new customers, for their existing customers, and their whole focus was on remarkable experiences. And today, all they're talking about is remarkable experiences. They're building strategies and improving services and training all around impacting the number of remarkable experiences they have over the next couple of years, because that will propel them to become the company they see they're going to become in that long-term future state. All right, so another way you can do this, I love the thematic goal for creating mid-range strategy. We have also worked with our clients on something called the strategic stair step. This works great as well. Basically, you would look at a 3 to 4 year period of time, and you would just really draw a staircase. And at the top of each step on the staircase would be the specific measurable goals that you wanted to accomplish that would move you forward towards long-term vision. And then under each one of those steps, you would have the key initiatives, the key strategies that you were going to deploy and that you were going to focus on. You would then build plans to deploy. It's another great process for you to build and execute on mid-range strategy. All right, so the 5 perspectives every leader must see. We've talked about current reality. We've talked about long-term vision. We've now talked about mid-range strategy. The 4th perspective is our immediate plans. And when I'm talking immediate plans, I'm talking about what is it that we need to be about immediately, and immediately in today's times is a year. I think every one of you would agree with me that you're kind of blown away right now that you cannot believe it's already Thanksgiving. We're already in the holiday season again. Years are flying by, and one-year plans are really helping us to hyper-focus on the immediate. So at Building Champions, what we want each and every one of you to do is we want you to create your plan for 2015. And what we're talking about here is not just your corporate plan. Leaders, we want you to create your personal one-page business plan for the year. So your one-page business plan has 3 different components to it. The first component of your one-page simple business plan for the year of 2015 will have your goals or outcomes for the year. It will then have your non-negotiable disciplines. What 3 to 6 non-negotiable disciplines do you need to repeat on a day in, day out, week in, week out time frame in order for you to be delivering the greatest value to the organization? I know that you all do 20 or 30 things in a week, maybe 20 or 30 things in a day. But the truth of the matter is there's 3, 4, 5 of them that are the high payoff activities. if you were to just do those activities, you would be delivering the most value to the organization. And if you could increase your time spent in those 3 to 5, you'd actually be more successful as a leader, and your organization would benefit as well. So immediate plans are comprised of your outcomes, your non-negotiable disciplines, and then the third component of the simple one-page business plan are your improvements. What are the improvements, the projects that you're responsible for, that you have oversight of, that need to be executed and completed upon this year? So if you have your outcomes for the year, your non-negotiable disciplines for the year, and your improvements for the year, you now have something that you can look at on one page, and it will direct you as to what you need to be doing day in and day out in order to keep you on track and growing. Now, the little nuance to this that we as coaches bring to our clients is we like you to then break that one-year plan down into a 90-day period of time. So we want you to be adjusting these quarter by quarter. So if you're looking at how you can improve your execution and your focus in 2015, and it's the personal one-page business plan, that's going to be the process that you're going to deploy. You're going to schedule your time between now and year end. You're going to build your 2015 plan, and in that very same sitting, you're going to create that plan for the first quarter. So what are the outcomes or goals that you're going to set for the first quarter? What are the non-negotiable disciplines that you're going to make sure you deploy in the first quarter? And then what are those projects or improvements that you're going to deliver upon in that first quarter? If you're doing this correctly, your immediate plan, your simple one-page business plan, will effectively help you to execute on that mid-range strategy, the 18 to 24 to 36 month strategy. It will connect. So your 90-day plan will connect to your one-year plan, which connects to your 24 or 36 month plan. And all of this is helping you to close that opportunity gap from current state to future state. The final perspective that we leaders need to be looking at our business from, as we're stepping back and we're looking at current reality, we're looking at future state, we're looking at mid-range strategy, we're looking at immediate, not just 1 year but 90 days. The next perspective that we need to be seeing our team or our business from is our team. It's truly our most valuable asset, our most appreciable asset are our teammates. And if we don't step back and really look at our teammates, again, we're in danger of missing huge opportunity. As leaders, I know that many of you have been thinking about succession planning. Maybe you've been building succession plans. Maybe you know you need to do it at some point in the future. And oftentimes what I will find is that leaders will look at succession planning very much like an insurance policy. You think you need to put a succession plan together in case you get hit by a bus. And okay, I think that's smart. I think we should have succession plans for those purposes, but that's not the first reason for us to have a succession plan. When we're looking at our teammates, we need to be thinking about who will be growing into the positions tomorrow to free us up so that we can continue to grow and lead the organization into new territory. We need to be building succession plans for growth, not just for insurance. And I want to make sure that you hear me on this. Do you have a plan, a succession plan for you and your key leaders today? The best organizations that we work with, they spend days together working on assessing who in the organization they're going to pour into because they're identifying the future successors as they continue to grow as an organization. So maybe that's your area for improvement as we're heading into the end of the year. You need to be looking at your team. You need to be looking at who can grow. And here's the questions for you. Who can they become? As you're looking at your teammates, you want to be asking yourself, who can each and every one of them become? And then what development do they need in the year ahead? So I believe that the best leaders are individuals who always see who their teammates can become. And oftentimes we leaders will see a brighter future, a bigger future for our teammates than they themselves might see. And what I've seen is those that see that, those that spend time working on the development plans, the coaching plans, and the sharing of who their teammates can become have the most engaged, the most hungry, the best performing teammates, because they have leaders that believe in not just who they are today and their competencies today, but they're painting a picture for a future state that's better than current state, again, creating an opportunity gap. So as we're looking at our teammates, we've got to make sure that we're seeing each and every one of them as who they can become, and then we need to have a clear strategy as to how we can best develop them. Our clients, whether they're large organizations or working in small firms, in those organizations, people are on the move inside the organization, meaning that we've got leaders that were in marketing before, and now they're in technology. We have leaders that were in ops before, and now they're in marketing. They're continually moving in the organization when there's an opportunity for them to grow and to deploy skills that they've got. Last week we were at one of the largest organizations in the world here in the Northwest. It's a massive campus, and we were with one of the leaders. And actually a couple of these leaders have been with the firm for 18 years, and one of them said, you know, there's no need to ever leave this company. It's like I can get a new job every few years, because if there's an area of interest for me, if I will study, if I will grow, if I will, you know, work on improving myself, I can switch and move into new departments and have different experiences. And I love that. And I think that that's a mindset that we leaders need to foster. And I don't care if you lead a team of 10 or you lead a team of 10,000. The best leaders are continually looking at the talented people who buy into the long-term vision. They are excited about the organization's purpose. They share the organization's convictions. They're smart and talented people. The best leaders are looking for paths to help them to grow, because oftentimes some of those internal moves can be the greatest game changers for us organizationally. For those of you who have been around building champions for a good long time, you know I wrote a book about 8 years ago, Becoming a Coaching Leader. It's a great book for you to look at when you want to intentionally develop your people. It's a how-to. And I don't say it's a great book because I wrote it. I say it's a great book because it's a how-to book. And it's proven. It's worked not only for us here at Building Champions, but for many of our clients. They have deployed the Becoming a Coaching Leader strategy, and as a result of that, they have a lot more confidence and improved results with how they develop each and every one of those that report to them. So as you're looking at your business from this perspective, you want to be asking yourself, do you have a solid development plan to grow each and every person on your team? Final thoughts on the 5 perspectives that every leader must see. I want you to review, review, review. Review the tools that you've got for each of these 5 perspectives. You've got to be disciplined with how you review these things so that you keep your mind focused on what matters most. If you haven't read Henry Cloud's book, Dr. Henry Cloud's book, Boundaries for Leaders, you will see why this is so important. I would encourage you to read it. You want to use the metrics that you're reviewing, your vision, your mid-range strategy, your immediate 90-day plans. You want to be reviewing these regularly in your planning time. This will help you to make sure that you don't get off strategy. And then don't get stuck looking at your business from just one perspective. If you're finding yourself hyper-focused on current reality, or you're continually out there in future state, force yourself to spend time looking at your business from one of these other vantage points. If you need help, get outside insight. That's where a coach comes into play. Make sure you're discussing this with your teammates. Challenge your teammates to look at the business from different perspectives. We don't want groupthink where we're all getting so excited about future state we start to make decisions because we're disconnected from current reality, or we become really sloppy and we start to become very ineffective because we don't have a clear focus on mid-range strategy. And then each and every one of us can improve by operating off of these 90-day simple one-page business plans that roll up into our annual plan, that roll up into the mid-range strategy. All right, well, there's a whole bunch for you. I hope that you can see as a result of this conversation the 1 or 2 areas for you to improve upon. Where do you need to work on improving your perspective as we come into 2015? I'm just finishing up a series of blog posts on this topic. You can check that out at danielharkavy.com. The first 4 perspectives are up there. The 5th will be up there this week. Give us a call if we can help you in any way. If you would like any of these tools, we'll go ahead and we'll get those out to all of you who registered. So we've got tools for just about everything that I've shared. We would love to get those into your hands so that you can benefit from them between now and the end of the year. My final action plan for each and every one of you is do not let January 1st hit without you taking a full day to really reflect, to assess, and to get crystal clear on your plans for the year ahead. Again, if we can help, please let us do so. Schedule that day, that on day as we call it. Go somewhere and give your all to it. We are so grateful for you. I wish every one of you, and really our team wishes each and every one of you, a very happy Thanksgiving. We're thankful for you. If you need any more information, you've got on the screen how to reach us. I'm going to stick around on the call for just another couple minutes for all of you who are needing to run right now. We're at the 30-minute mark, so you're free to go. And I'm just going to stick around for another few minutes to answer questions, should you have any. So go